ever pondered what a seizure is and how it can affect daily life? Well, I have, and let's set the stage by defining a seizure. A seizure is a sudden, uncontrolled electrical disturbance in the brain, causing changes in behavior, feelings, and levels of consciousness. Picture it as a storm in the brain, causing a temporary disruption in its normal activity. Seizures aren't as rare as you might think. In fact, it's estimated that 1 in 26 people in the United States will develop epilepsy, a chronic neurological disorder characterized by recurrent seizures at some point in their life. But remember, not all seizures mean epilepsy. There are many other causes, from high fever in children to certain medications or even alcohol withdrawal. Now, how do seizures affect daily life? The impact can vary greatly depending on the frequency, type, and severity of the seizures. Some people may experience mild symptoms and resume normal activity shortly after, while others may have severe seizures that require recovery time and can significantly disrupt daily routines. Seizures can affect a person's safety, relationships, work, driving, and so much more. It's not just about the physical effects, though. The psychological impact can be just as significant, leading to feelings of anxiety, depression, and social isolation. It's also important to note that seizures aren't all the same. They're usually classified into 2 main types: generalized seizures, which affect both sides of the brain, and focal or partial seizures, which affect just one part of the brain. But within these categories, there are several different types of seizures, each with its own set of symptoms and effects. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The world of seizures is complex and multifaceted, affecting millions of people worldwide in different ways. It's a topic that deserves our attention and understanding. Now that we've established what a seizure is, let's delve into the different types of seizures. Seizures are not a one-size-fits-all. They come in various forms. Much like the unique individuals they affect, seizures manifest in a myriad of ways, each with its own set of symptoms and effects. Let's delve into these types to better understand them. First, we have the generalized seizures, which engage both sides of the brain simultaneously. This type of seizure is characterized by a loss of consciousness and muscle spasms, which can cause physical injury. The person experiencing a generalized seizure might fall to the ground or have jerking movements. Next, we have focal seizures, also known as partial seizures. These are localized to one specific area of the brain. Symptoms can vary greatly depending on the brain region affected, ranging from involuntary twitching to alterations in taste or smell. Some people may also experience hallucinations or déjà vu. Interestingly, the person remains conscious during a focal seizure, which can make these episodes particularly unsettling. Now let's talk about absent seizures. These are most common in children and are often mistaken for daydreaming or lack of attention. They involve brief lapses of consciousness where the person may stare blankly into space, blink rapidly, or have subtle body movements. Though they last only a few seconds, their frequency can be disruptive to daily life. Lastly, we have the tonic-clonic seizures, previously known as grand mal seizures. These are the most dramatic and easily recognized type. They involve a sudden loss of consciousness, body stiffening, and violent muscle contractions. After the seizure, the person might feel confused and fatigued. Understanding these different types of seizures is crucial not only for those who suffer from them, but also for those around them. It helps us empathize, respond appropriately, and ultimately reduces the stigma surrounding this condition. With this understanding of the types of seizures, we can proceed to discuss the link between seizures and depression. Did you know that seizures and depression can be linked? While it may seem surprising, studies show that individuals experiencing seizures are more likely to also grapple with depression. This connection is thought to be due to the impact seizures have on the brain, potentially altering its chemistry and leading to depressive symptoms. Depression can manifest in various ways, such as persistent sadness, loss of interest in activities, or changes in appetite and sleep patterns. This adds an extra layer of complexity to the lives of those living with seizures. Therefore, mental health care becomes an integral part of their overall treatment plan. Psychologists, psychiatrists, and therapists can provide much-needed support, helping individuals navigate the emotional turbulence that often accompanies seizures. They can offer strategies for managing depressive symptoms, fostering resilience, and boosting overall quality of life. Depression isn't the only thing that can be linked to seizures. Diabetes can also play a role. Diabetes can cause a specific type of seizure. Ever heard of a diabetic seizure? This is a serious condition that occurs when a person's blood sugar levels become either too high or too low. The brain needs a steady supply of glucose to function properly, so when these levels are disrupted, it can trigger a seizure. Symptoms can vary from person to person, but they often include confusion, rapid heart rate, and even loss of consciousness. In some cases, a diabetic seizure can be mistaken for drunkenness due to the disorientation and erratic behavior it can cause. Managing diabetes is essential to prevent these seizures. Regularly monitoring blood sugar levels, maintaining a healthy diet, and taking prescribed medication are all crucial steps in managing this condition. It's important to note that seizures don't always come without warning. Before a seizure occurs, some people experience what is known as an aura. An aura can serve as a warning sign before a seizure, but what exactly is it? Well, an aura is a peculiar sensation or series of sensations that some people experience before a seizure. It may include a wide range of symptoms such as a sudden sense of fear, a feeling of déjà vu, or even experiencing unusual smells or tastes. So how does one describe an aura? It's kind of like the quiet before a storm, a warning signal that your body gives you, almost as if it's saying, brace yourself, a seizure is coming. It's an eerie calm, a break in the rhythm of your day, and it can be as disconcerting as the seizure itself. For some, these sensations can be quite subtle, while others may experience them more intensely. This brings us to the actual seizure. Imagine a storm erupting in your brain, a sudden burst of electrical activity that disrupts the normal function of your brain cells. That's what a seizure is. During this stage, the person may lose consciousness, their muscles may stiffen, and they may have jerking movements. They might fall down, or simply stop what they're doing and stare blankly. In a way, a seizure is like an electrical storm in your brain. It starts in one part of the brain, and then it spreads. And just like a storm, it can be intense and frightening. But also like a storm, it eventually passes. The seizure itself usually lasts from a few seconds to a couple of minutes. Understanding these stages can help us empathize with those living with this condition. It can also help us recognize the signs and be better prepared to offer assistance when needed. Remember, a seizure is not just a medical condition, it's a human experience, and it's different for everyone. Some people may have auras and others may not. Some may have one type of seizure and others may have another. But what they all have in common is a need for understanding, support, and care. After the seizure comes the postictal stage. The postictal stage is the recovery period after a seizure, but it's not as simple as it sounds. This stage begins when the overt physical manifestations of a seizure cease, and it extends until the person returns to their baseline condition. During the postictal phase, individuals may experience a variety of symptoms, including confusion, drowsiness, nausea, headache, and even temporary blindness. Because the brain is basically rebooting after a seizure, it's not unusual for people to feel disoriented or even behave unusually. Emotionally, this stage can be quite taxing. Feelings of depression, anxiety, and fear are common as the individual grapples with the after effects of the seizure. This emotional toll, coupled with the physical exhaustion, can make the postictal phase particularly challenging. The duration of the postictal stage can vary greatly, ranging from a few minutes to several hours, and sometimes even a couple of days. Sometimes a seizure can be so severe that it requires a hospital stay. A severe seizure might necessitate a trip to the hospital, but how does the public perceive this? It's a whirl of sirens and flashing lights, a sudden rush of urgency as paramedics arrive to assist. The experience can be disorienting, even alarming, for the person experiencing the seizure. Public reactions, though, can vary widely. Some spectators might be well-informed and empathetic, while others might gawk in confusion or even fear. This public spectacle can sometimes lead to a ripple of irritation among concerned citizens who might feel helpless or uncomfortable in the face of such a medical emergency. It's important to remember that every seizure is unique, just like the individuals who experience them. The hospital stay itself can be a daunting prospect filled with tests and consultations, but it's a crucial step in ensuring the person's health and safety. Knowing how to respond to a seizure can make a big difference. So what is the first aid for a seizure? If you witness a seizure, knowing first aid can be life-saving. Now let's walk through the steps you should take. First, ensure the person's safety. Clear the area of any sharp or hard objects that could cause injury. Next, stay calm. Your composed presence can be comforting once they regain consciousness. Position the person on their side if possible to prevent choking. While it may be instinctive to try and restrain the person or put something in their mouth, avoid doing this. It could cause harm. Instead, focus on keeping the person safe until the seizure ends naturally. If the seizure lasts for more than 5 minutes or repeats without the person regaining consciousness, call for medical help immediately. Remember, seizures can be scary, but your actions can make a big difference. Understanding seizures can help people empathize with people like myself who experience them and be prepared if we ever witness one.